Hello, live from the infamous Berth's pub. I'm Jeremy Taylor, and welcome to this week's Wednesday Night Undressed, a podcast that reaches into the wobbly places other podcasts daren't venture. And we don't claim to look at things scientifically, but we definitely have all the answers to your mysteries, vegetable, animal, and mineral. We even know the kings and queens of England and questions most political. In short, we can explain matters mathematical, physical, and medical. We are the only naked podcast you can undress to. Wednesday whilst wallowing in your bath. And so we have all sorts of fascinating questions. We're going to have sponsors tonight as well. Are we sponsored tonight?
I think Susan sent something last minute, something very, very short. But yeah, I think she contracted someone.
That's good. On our team tonight, we have Andrei. Or Andre. You Andrei or Andre? Andrei. Yes, Alena's with us. Hello, Alena.
Hi.
Kathleen is with us.
Hello.
Fernando is with us, not to be forgotten.
Hello.
Evo
Yes.
is here.
He is.
And, of course, who else? Lewis.
On the knobs.
On the knobs.
I'm always on the knobs.
You're just dreaming. On the knobs. And we have some fascinating questions. Not sure if we'll get to all of them, but we will have a go. First question, first subject. Once you shuffle off this mortal coil, you fall off your perch, as the Norwegian Blue did, where would you like your ashes to be scattered and why? Presupposing that you want to be burnt and cremated.
True.
Or maybe you just want an old boring burial. Please share with us. Let's go to Andre, who's, God willing, has the longest yet to go. Although I understand he's just about to get a Ford Mustang, so that maybe only a few weeks.
I want them to be okay. If I were to be burned, cremated, I would like them to be pressed into a vinyl record.
I love this.
The Black Sabbath album that my dad got me when I was in kindergarten.
Oh my God.
You won't be able to do it, but like Gavin might or something.
Yeah.
Is that Paranoid? Which one was it?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
No, it was, right? Yeah.
He was Paranoid. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you want to be pressed into a vinyl record?
Yeah.
Wow, that would be
And
incredible.
are we having various pressings or just the one?
Well, it's just the one, but like I know it's a thing that happens, so
Yes.
I want it to happen for me.
Yeah, I wonder if the Great Oz came up with that idea.
Ozzy Osbourne?
Yes.
What if they
He
get
probably would come up with something like this. Yeah.
What if
My
they
mom
get it
wants it to
wrong and put Baby Shark on it instead or something?
I won't know because I'll be dead. I don't know. My mom wants it to happen to her, so I thought it was a cool thing.
Your mum wants to be on a vinyl record.
Yes, it's gonna be a record that my stepdad has been working on with his friend. Yeah, I'm never gonna listen to it because I don't like the style of music that he's made.
Is it music to die by?
It's kind of just like sound, like noise. I think the style is called noise. So like he likes it and enjoys it, and my mom supports it, but
It's just ambience.
yeah,
right?
it's just yeah. I'll show you some after the podcast.
Yeah, a wall of sound, just background music.
So
Yeah,
it's
I
like
got
hear
the
it in the
feeling
basement.
we would not be able to get him to sponsor like the episode after that glowing recommendation that you gave us. So.
No, I mean it's just not my cup of tea. It's the style. It's not like he's bad at it.
But I am pleased that you're into tea. That's super. Alena.
Oh, I don't know. Just as long as I'm dead, and for real, we know for sure.
You mean like ahead of time?
Like, yeah.
Just make sure.
Just make sure, like 4 or 5
Several
doctors,
times.
8 doctors, just check, make sure. Then do whatever, I guess, at that point.
You don't
Whatever's-
do it.
Use a needle or something just in your big toe or something.
Yeah, whatever is economical. If they let me, if they just like allow people to just like bury me raw,
and then I could just like become a tree or something.
You want to
Or
be buried
weeds.
in the raw. You don't want.
Like no, I don't know why I would need a coffin, right?
Right.
Because wouldn't I just degrade if they just like?
Well, after a while.
They are
yes.
doing this kind of stuff right now. They are doing this kind of burials where they just put you in the ground and enhance your like the degrading, so you can turn quicker into plant life.
Well,
The
why does
other
it
option,
even-
of course, is to go for this the police investigation units, and they take you out. They have this sort of
boneyard.
boneyard, right? And they plonk you down in a corner, and they put a little stick just to say who you are, and leave you. And they use this for forensic training and research.
Oh, I don't want to be in a training field.
No.
I don't know why.
No, I'm super like it has always been something that is very curious to me. Why we make like decay-proof caskets? Like it goes completely against the whole. Like,
You just liquefy inside. and it's
Yeah.
gross.
yeah. Whereas
It's better
like,
to just become part of nature quicker, right?
that's my feeling.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm just gonna jump in and give my 2 cents right now.
Well,
Like,
you weren't going to be
I am-
next.
Right,
Just
it
'cause
doesn't
you're on
matter.
the
I'm
knobs.
already talking, so you can't
Alright.
stop me. But like, I just don't plan on dying. Like, I don't even know like how you guys are.
That's
like,
what Michael
dealing
Jackson
with
said.
Alright. I would just like to say, I thought that like being cremated was like, it had to be. I had to assume that I was going to be for this question.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, like, I want to be mummified. I think that'd be awesome. Yeah,
How are they going to record the music on you?
they won't. No, I'll just be a mummy.
But you,
Yeah, I'll give an arm or something.
Okay,
for
that
the
would work.
record, because you want one for the
Oh,
LP.
it'll be my kicking leg.
Oh, I meant to ask: is it going to be an LP or an EP or 45?
LP.
Okay,
Oh, what an interesting.
Lewis, are we done with you? Are you?
Yeah, I literally I can't answer this question because I don't think that I will ever die.
Okay, Evo.
It's about
So that's interesting what Andrei brought up about the mummification, because I've been in the presence of 2 mummies. I've seen 2 people that were mummified.
I've met your mummy.
Yeah, but one was Georgy Dimitrov, who was our communist leader, and he was mummified in a mausoleum in Sofia, and they would take us from school, like once a year, to visit his corpse.
Oh,
All the students would go, and it was like a figure of worship, And mausoleum was white marble, and it was kind of labyrinthian. You go through corridors that are spiraling towards the middle of the mausoleum, and you end up in front of his sarcophagus, and it's transparent sarcophagus, so you look at the body of the guy.
way
and-
to traumatize a kid.
yeah, it was very strange to me. It was kind of scary because especially when I was first, second grade, it was really weird, and he was waxy. The body, it was strange.
Was it smelly?
No. No, it was really and it was cold. It was cold and weird, and then I've seen Lenin's mummy on the Red Square in 1988. I went, and the Russians were we waited on a big line. I think at this point we had already removed our mausoleum and had buried our guy. I think at this point we were. I'm not quite sure, but they were very proud of this, and we waited for an hour on a giant line to get in and look at Lenin. And I made a joke, and all the Russians were like, I made a zombie joke or something, and all the Russians were so pissed
Oh no.
around me. They were college students. They were young, but they worshipped the guy. They really think he's some kind of deity.
And so you're responsible for Putin attacking Bulgaria. Oh,
Maybe.
you didn't know.
I didn't know. Anyway, I was thinking. I was first imagining how that record would play, and it would be like Ozzy Osbourne singing, make a joke and I will make a joke and I will laugh and you will sigh and I will cry. Was that
Yeah,
how
right.
Paranoid goes?
Something like that.
Would be very, very interesting to listen to that record, but we'll all be gone by then anyway.
Excuse me.
except for Lewis, who's gonna live forever. He's a freaking vampire. I was thinking maybe the kids will have to make a trip back to Bulgaria with my ashes. And there's like a stunning place where we were with Lewis actually, on top of Old Mountain Staroplana in Shipka. You remember Shipka
Oh, yeah.
Monument? It was the view is stunning from there. You can look to the south, and you can see the Rose Valley, which is just endless fields of roses. And you can look to the north and see the plains, and you can look at the mountains to the east and the west, and it's really gorgeous. So maybe that's the place. And it would be a nice trip for the kids to bond, you know. But if not that, then maybe the Lawrence Memorial Cemetery, where I go every November 6th, because that's where James Naismith is buried. And I love basketball. And so I go, and he was born on November 6th, so I go there and I lay a flower.
And where was he
No,
born?
don't you
And
need
where
a
was he
bouquet
born?
of
He was
basketballs?
born in Ontario, Canada. Huh?
Yeah.
A bouquet of basketballs.
No, I put a single rose there on the grave, and I was thinking, you know, it'd be kind of cool. I have a bond with the good doctor at this point after 30 something years of doing this. Every November 6th. So I've talked to my son, and I gotta talk to Alena about it. Where if something happens to me, they have to continue the tradition and keep putting a rose on the grave. And I was thinking if I get scattered there, I might have some conversations with the ghost of the doctor. So that's another place. And finally, third option, when somebody in the family passes away, we travel to Oklahoma with the entire family to a lake, which is called Tin Killer. Appropriately named Tin Killer. But we go to that lake, and there's an island in the middle of the lake. We rent a boat, and we take the urn and we scatter the ashes on that island. And we have 3 relatives that have passed away and are all there. So maybe that's another thing, another option for me. And it's always a good bonding experience. We rent a lake house, and we collect all the relatives that are still
Murder
alive.
somebody.
No, we spend a couple of days partying and riding a boat through the lake and drinking and remembering the people that we've lost and sharing.
Can we come and not have to remember anybody?
Yeah, of course. And by the time we're done, we don't remember anything.
Right.
You know, so that's my take.
Fernando.
Okay. Well, option A, it's don't die. So, you know, the immortalists, they're working hard, and there is a lot of science
So we've
research
got
on
another
that.
immortal. So you're going to be there with Lewis.
Yeah, option A. Me and Lou gonna
Okay.
record. Option B, Viking funeral.
Viking funeral, very good. We
That'll be
like
cool,
that.
but they
Yeah.
gotta eat that one with the small canoe stuff, and someone gotta hit the what's the name? Yeah, the arrow thing, the flaming arrow.
I will start
Yeah.
practicing my
Lord.
archery right now, so that I got your back.
Have you got a particular lake or river or something in mind that you want to be?
Gotta be the Titicaca Lake.
Titicaca.
Just because
Anything
of the name.
with Titi in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that, right?
No.
It's a big lake.
Right.
But could be I'll be okay here at the, but I don't know. Probably the U.S. law is probably gonna be very complicated.
Clinton,
to that.
something.
I was checking. It's actually there is very small places around the world that you can really do that, but there is a few locations.
We had an uncle, Uncle Louis. He wanted a Viking funeral out in the family.
You got it?
No, because his wife refused to. She wants to be in the urn with him. So, and she's going to go on for another 30 years at least. Yeah, she's 90 now. So, Uncle Louis didn't get what he wanted. Kathleen.
Oh, well, I'm assuming that one day I will die, and very likely at that point I will want to. Most people do. they don't want to live forever. Like you reach a point where they're sick and tired of it, and they just are just as happy to shuffle off this mortal coil. So I hope I get to that point. And what happens to me after that, I don't give a shit. You know? Whatever pleases the people around me. If they want to put me in a box in the ground and fertilize a tree, that's fine. If they want to cremate me and put my ashes somewhere, that's fine too. I just don't care. I don't want anybody to go broke, but then I'll be dead and I won't know. So just, it's just, I don't care what my final arrangements are.
What about that concept that as long as people remember you, you're not really gone? Do
Well-
you want to have a grave where people would come?
Oh, no, you're gone. They just remember you. Duh.
Well, the memory lives. You want the memory to. You don't care. You wouldn't know.
Yeah, I don't particularly want to be like some of the long dead relatives that people go to the grave and say, well, who the heck was that?
Oh yeah.
And then that's always going to happen at some point.
Wow.
The people who know me will probably remember me one way or another. Good, bad, whatever. And that's fine, but it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, but you only get to know like 4, maybe 5 generations of people. Like that whole idea that people die 2 deaths, like physical death, and then when the last person that remembers you is gone. Like that's kind of a heady idea for me. Like we've talked about it before, the necrologues that I had witnessed when I went to Bulgaria. And I thought they were as creepy as, and I still technically do think they're creepy as shit. But there is something to be said about, there comes a point when, all memory of you is gone off the planet.
Yeah,
And
as
that
long as we've
bothers
got
me.
people who were into family history, somebody's going to remember you somehow.
No, what you mean is that they've got to be actually able to remember meeting and maybe having a conversation or something like.
Yeah. There is a difference between, somebody documenting that I existed. That's really, one sort of instance of it. But there does come this point where, I'm vain, so I talk about me. My influence has diluted just because I've been gone so long that people don't remember who Lou is, and that's an incredibly sobering thought for me. But again, I'm
And that's
vain.
what you thought about.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor, we did not hear what you want to have with your ashes.
Well, yes. I think I'm assuming that I want to be cremated. And
Dude,
I
you're so
have-
old. You don't know?
And I, unfortunately for my wife, I want to be my ashes to be taken to a certain beach in my beloved Cornwall in England.
Have I seen pictures of this beach?
Yes,
Mhm.
on my computer.
Mhm.
And that's what I want. If I should find myself, in extremis, I don't know, I can't imagine it's a war or something. But as long as I'm doing something useful, I don't really mind what happens.
Well, I will say that if for whatever reason, you are not able to take him back to England, I will press your ashes into a record.
And sail it out over the waves.
Exactly.
Or you could bury them underneath Murph's pub on a Wednesday night at 6:53 or something, because someone will be late.
Somebody might notice the big hole in the cement.
You know what the next
You will
question
haunt
is?
Yeah,
Murphs.
once. Churchill came here many years ago.
To Murph's. Well,
Yeah.
Conroy's. It was then
Yeah,
Conroy's.
no, it was
yeah.
Casper's actually.
No, you really did. Churchill's pub. Okay, let's go on to another subject. One of the questions that came up, where were you when the Jayhawks won the championship last Monday? Did you watch the game and did you participate in downtown madness afterwards? And we thought about this question on the way over. And it dawned on us that we have a few listeners here in America, but we have a lot of listeners, believe it or not, in Europe, who haven't got the faintest idea where Lawrence is, let alone what a Jayhawk is.
Yeah.
And we thought that it might be useful just to explain that college basketball in America is this gigantic thing, not quite up with the FA Cup in England or something like that, or the European Football Club, but it's a seriously big deal. And the town where we broadcast from won the National College Basketball thing the other day. And so I think we ought to start off where Eva and I were the other day. Towards the end of the game, of course, I was standing outside Evo's lavatory holding the door shut so that he couldn't get out, because this has become a tradition with Evo. When the Jayhawks are getting very close to shooting themselves in the foot or winning, we send Evo to the lavatory.
Yeah.
And we tell him to turn his hat around, because he always wears a special hat.
Yes.
And he goes to the lavatory, and he's allowed out when they win. And I have discovered, not only are you in the lavatory, but I have to be in my shed.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yes, I have to be in my shed and not watch it.
Okay. So.
And then I come in and I say, "Is it all over?"
And they say, "Go back in the shed."
She says, "It is now."
So that's what happened? That's how you guys were?
He disappeared. Yes.
Where were you?
Well, we were here at Murph's with Alena and Jamie, and I actually, the first half, I had a soccer game in Kansas City that I was coaching, and we couldn't watch the first half.
That's why they were behind.
That's why they were losing, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Until
A
you
lot of
got
people
here.
have been very concerned about this.
Yeah,
Shut in
but
the bathroom.
as soon as I came in, they started winning, which kind of goes against experience and history, because, you know, in the past, I had to actually, like when the Royals were losing, they would send me from the Murphs into the bathroom. I would stay in the bathroom, and they would start winning. As soon as I come out, they start losing, so they wouldn't let me get out of the bathroom. Anyway,
It was uncanny.
I came in. I did use the hat magic, where they're scoring.
Uncanny.
When they're winning, my hat is like this, and when on defense, I turn the hat around, and they play really good defense. And so I was spinning my head like crazy. Jamie and Alena were looking at me like I was insane. Oh, I had to touch Alena's shoulder every time we were on offense, and we would score. And I touched Jamie's shoulder when we were on defense.
This is actually true. All right, this is true.
Jamie was cooler.
What you were doing when the guy stepped on a line?
Oh, I lost my
Were
mind.
you turning your head?
Yeah, sideways.
Yeah. Midway?
I lost my mind, of course, but yeah, it was. For some reason, I was very calm most of the time. I had a feeling that they're going to win, even when they were down 15 points at halftime.
We know they're a second half team, so you know.
Yeah, and they were deeper. Their bench was deeper. The other team only had 5 good players.
It seemed to me, I mean, we had a lot of family there, and people had come in from St. Louis and England and various other places. It didn't seem to me to be have the special something.
Special.
The one before had.
Mm-hmm.
That,
I know.
yeah, that seemed to be, I guess, winning that one got them where they needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Lawrence, as we said earlier, is the home of basketball.
Yes.
And you know that it was very cool. Alena, you were with your dad. What was he doing that you found bizarre and embarrassing?
Oh, I don't know. They watched the game. They did whatever they were doing. I don't know what they.
I mean, besides stepping shoulder and keep flipping the head.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a little kid playing a video Galaga behind us, and he was really funny, actually.
Alena paid more attention to him.
Because he was like beating the Galaga machine and like making noises and like making up voices for all the little like things in the Galaga machine. I was like, that's funny. It's like a scene from the 1980s.
I did jump on a table when they won.
Yeah.
I did jump on a table, over
One of
there.
those tables.
And there were a lot of crazy people here. This place was packed to the rim. There were a lot of insane people.
Yeah, I separated from y'all at the end and went downtown, and then I went home after I went downtown, just like walked home, and this was the funniest part of the evening to me, was that a little woman tried to like walk me home so that I would get home safely. Because she was like under the impression I was going to get attacked, but she was like 5'1". And so
You were protecting
she was
her.
like, "Let me make sure that you're safe, and let me make sure nobody hurts you." And I was like, "That's fine," but I'm like almost like about 6 feet tall in my heels. I don't think anyone's gonna hurt me.
No, and right. What about you, Andre? Where were you?
He was with friends, probably.
No, I was at my mom's house because I was really tired. And before the game, though, is when all the craziness went down after baseball practice in the locker room. Before every KU game, in the baseball locker room, they play that song that KU plays when it's like the tip off, like really loudly in our baseball locker room, which is in this old school, which is now all our baseball stuff. It like echoes through the whole school because it's so loud, and that was fun.
And then you watched it at your mom's?
I watched it at my mom's house. My stepdad got mad at me because I was like talking through the whole game. So it was a reasonable, but like, I don't know.
It's better than his music.
Yeah. I was excited about the win. Yeah.
Did you go downtown?
No, too tired.
Oh, man.
Did anybody go downtown?
Oh,
on
yeah.
Sunday for the
Oh, my God.
parade? Yeah.
Jamie
not
and
for the
I-
parade.
I was actually, I was shopping for a car, so I had business to handle.
Yeah.
Did anybody see friend Brian Haney, who was in the last car?
I saw
voicing
him.
the Jayhawks.
I saw him.
And Brian, someone threw a basketball at Brian from the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a hoop up on a lamppost,
Mm-hmm.
and they threw it at Brian. And Brian threw the thing back
And he made it?
and scored.
No
I
way.
mean, yeah, he wouldn't even. He wouldn't be able to do that for his
Ever.
kids ever again. You
And
know?
the crowd must have gone
they
insane.
did. Yeah.
Oh,
And
my
Brian's
God.
going.
We went to the downtown with Jamie on 9th Street in Massachusetts. There was a mosh pit that cannot be described. The amount of humanity that was there, it was insane. There was a guy crowd surfing in a shopping cart.
I know that guy. Plays on
Really?
the Free State football team.
It was the
All right,
most random
so
thing.
was this like, because while I was there were two. There was a guy and then there was
Okay.
the Spider-Man.
Okay, well,
Spider-Man,
the guy who
got
was
in.
not Spider-Man, I remember he like took a selfie and then the Lawrence police posted it on Twitter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's a senior on the Free State football team.
Gotcha. Okay.
His name is Jared.
And he has no hope of getting anything athletic.
He's playing D2, so yeah, no
That's-
hope.
But
Fernando, where were you? Did you even watch it?
Well, first, my property, my house. It's across the street.
it's downtown.
No. And what's the name? Naismith.
Yeah, the Allen Field House.
No. Naismith home.
Oh, the home of James Naismith.
My house is across, so
Yes.
that's inspiration. Every time I open the door for smoke a cigarette, and I had like probably a half dozen the first half, I look at Naismith's house, and I got my faith. And
Saw him
Well, that's
standing there,
good.
did
Good
you?
mojo. That's
Stay
good
there.
mojo.
But the game was fantastic. I'm glad I didn't have any subscription and was literally the only game I watched of this tournament.
It was great comeback.
Now,
was
Lewis, you
phenomenal.
drove for an hour and a half to come and join in. Where were you?
So
Did you
I
watch it on-
watched the game from a friend's house. I thought about coming down here to watch it, but since I didn't watch any of the rest of the
season.
playoffs here, I didn't want to be like the thing that screwed up Evo's mojo. So I just watched it from my friend's house, and like my daughter is like, she has been wanting to experience this for I don't know, like 9-10 years.
Yeah.
And so
She's
she's
only 10 years old.
15, but yes.
Yeah.
And so she's like, we're over at my friend's daughter goes to school with Izzy too. So my friend John and I are sitting there watching the game, and the girls are watching the game too, but they are completely freaked out in the first half because KU's losing. And it doesn't matter how many times I say, this does not matter. Like, it doesn't even matter until we come back from halftime. And then we see, like, what KU's really going to do. And obviously, like, they were a completely different team coming out for the second half. So about, I'm going to say with maybe 5 minutes left in the second half, Izzy's like, can we go to Lawrence now? Baby girl. There have been people camping out since 6 a.m. Like, it doesn't matter if we leave now or in 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's still going to be
Wild.
insane.
Yeah.
So they win, and essentially, like, there's probably 6 of us over at John's house watching the game. So we all hop into cars, drive to Lawrence. And,
Nice.
Yeah, we drive in on K10, so we come in on 23rd Street. And quite honestly, we're all like on the phones with each other. Do we park here or do we risk trying to get downtown? I'm just like, fuck it, let's go downtown. Like, what's the worst that could happen? We got to park like in North Lawrence. We get downtown, and quite honestly, we find a spot right just west of 10th and I think Ohio.
Nice.
So we hop out of the car, and people are going crazy. Everybody's screaming, like, yeah. And so the girls are both terrified and having
Happy.
the time of their life, because, like, they've never seen what happens to this city when the Jayhawks win, or when they win it all. And so everybody's, giving them the rock chalk salute, and just, we're number one, and people running up to each other and giving each other hugs and like,
High five.
yeah.
Why so many high fives?
It's because it's the most effective way of spreading COVID.
Oh, okay.
And they can
It's not
pretend-
fist bump. It's a little. There is less.
Yeah,
ways.
get my
You gotta-
COVID.
you gotta
Get some
hide
COVID.
it.
Pretend they just chucked a baseball.
So we walk from 10th and Ohio or whatever, and we walk to the center of 10th and Mass, and there is a substantial crowd of people. We decide to walk to 11th and Mass, and there's almost nobody. So then we walk the other way.
It's always a there.
And we get to maybe halfway between 9th and 10th Street on Mass, and you literally just can't move. It's
Yeah.
like 12:30 in the morning at this
It
point.
was so nice.
And the crowds are so, like, thickly packed that it's almost impossible to get, like, to the other side. We manage it, and we sit there on the corner, and we watch the shopping cart crowd surfing guy, and the fireworks go off.
Did
And
you see the inflatable doll?
Yes,
Bill Self-inflatable doll.
yes.
That was hilarious.
Alena, did I ask you where you were? You were with your dad.
I was with my dad, and then we quickly parted, and then I went downtown, and then
You ran.
a woman kindly escorted me
Yeah,
home.
that's right. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Kathleen, what about yourself?
Oh, we didn't actually go downtown. We had several people in the house, and some of them did not understand basketball, which was kind of
they
funny.
didn't support.
Your friends from England?
Yeah.
So basketball is a college sport. It was created specifically for college. So, it's hard for people. Some people in Europe watch NBA professionals. It's hard for them to understand how important the college basketball championship is, and March, in particular, in the March Madness. But it is the roots of the sport, and the meaning of the sport are really embedded into the college sport.
I tried to explain to my son-in-law, who's a Barcelona fan,
Yeah.
that this was like being at a final with Barcelona,
Yeah.
and then Barcelona wins in Barcelona,
Yeah.
and he's like, oh, okay. And he went upstairs to bed.
So yeah, he did he understand?
No, not really. I mean, he understood, but it didn't do anything for him. And I think
You've
that's
got to
what I was
kind of
trying
be
to say
in
at the
it
beginning.
to understand it.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, right. I think so. All right, let's move on to the next issue that we've got. One of the questions that we have, I'm a little leery of asking because I don't know where it's going to go. So I'm going to ask another one, and that is: when was the last time you were in a movie theater, and when would be the next time? And I'm going to start with that. Can I start?
Yeah,
I'm going
you
to
start.
start. The last time we went to see.
Sure, if we're going to let a white man start.
Oh, God. Okay. I went to see. We went to see. My wife and I went to see Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh, you did.
This is some years ago
I
now.
think it was Kenneth
The-
Branagh.
Oh.
the redone.
Oh, the Kenneth Branagh one.
Yeah, and it was really good, very good. What I particularly liked about the theatre was how, the Murder on the Orient Express, it gets stuck in the snow.
Inspector
Yeah.
Poirot.
Yeah.
Well,
That was
when I
well
went
done.
to see the first Star Wars, they had Sensorand, right? So you would be in the cinema, and the cinema started to move.
Oh, it's
when
one
the
of
big
those.
ships.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Sensorand. What they managed to do was they got you in the way of feeling that you were there because of the snow.
So
they
the-
managed to make the theater.
The movie theater
so,
didn't have heat.
It was
Right.
so cold.
You got it.
Yeah, it was so cold that you thought that you were there.
Oh
and
my
we
God.
had wondered a little bit how people who go on a regular basis were taking quilts with them into
They were sleeping bags, quilts.
But they really were.
sitting there in there.
My
and
wife
then,
will not go to a theater without a sleeping or a quilt. It's just
Why do
something.
they keep them so cold?
Don't know.
and then the last sort of real big family outing, we went to see, I couldn't tell you, Harry Tosser or something, and I was getting more and more angry with some kids over to my right who were fooling around. It was messing up the show, and I was thinking, oh dear.
They had potato
Bloody
chips,
hell.
which
And
they knew as crisps.
And one of the boys says to me, "What's that noise, Dad?" And I said, way too loudly, far too loudly, like the whole theatre could hear it. I said, "Crisps," which for the uninitiated is chips.
Yeah.
And
Didn't stop them.
didn't stop them.
Gosh. So you've never, you don't think you're gonna go back to the movie theater?
No, this was in England, so they would have understood that was crisps. Shouting about crisps was because they were sitting there.
They were
Hold
just
on.
seeing how much noise they could make. But I think I've never beaten Vincent Price. You remember Vincent Price and all the Dracula movies?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Vincent Price is one of my favourite. Vincent Price was filming a Dracula movie in some small town in Middle America somewhere, and it was raining, and so he and I don't know who else, Boris Karloff or something, they couldn't film. So they've been sat in a hotel all morning. What are we going to do now? Is there a cinema? So yes, there was a cinema, and guess what? Because they were filming nearby, the cinema was running Dracula movies. And Vincent Price was in one of these Dracula movies. So he and the other old boy, they go and sit right, they get in and they go and sit right at the back of the theatre. And they watch this movie that they had been in during the afternoon.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple sitting in front of them. Who, I mean, you don't look at people sitting next to you, do you? And there's this couple sitting in front of them, young couple, necking. And they neck their way through. They're sort of, she gets a bit scared, a bit more necking. Carry on the movie, bit more necking. Carry on the movie, bit more necking. Get to the end of the movie. Just as the credits are rolling, Vincent Price leant forward and whispered in the girl's ear. And
Creepy
apparently
as
this
hell.
girl nearly went like 2 rows in front. Can you imagine that happening to you? Okay, so what movie do you go see?
The last time I went to a movie theater was watching The Batman, but not with my dad. Yeah, before that was watching The Batman with my dad, and the one time before that was watching The Batman, and I think the time one of those times was also like I've seen The Batman 4 times now. It's not like that good of a movie where you need to see it 4 times.
Yeah.
But I've had 4 opportunities to go watch it. There's like nothing else I really want to see, so.
So
I've
do
seen it
you
4
speak
times.
along with the actors as they deliver their
You knew
lines?
the
I relate to Batman now. Yeah, I'm a big Batman guy.
Well, you're wealthy. You're a crime fighter.
And he's
Yeah,
got a
you
cape
know.
on, see?
Don't
Yeah.
forget Playboy.
Yeah. He's a playboy. He's about to get a Batmobile very soon.
Yeah.
You know.
But
Of course.
the time with my dad was like more fun because it was a fancy movie theater in Texas, and we like got food and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, and we were
It was the Austin
The Alamo.
Alamo House. Alamo Draft House.
Do they have them anymore?
Not in Kansas City.
it was a different kind. Yeah.
Right.
Anyways,
So
yeah.
that has been memorable several times.
yeah.
Which one was the best?
Time with my dad, probably. Yeah.
Was that the last time you were at a movie, Fernando?
No, so I watched the Batman with my coworkers yesterday, and then we watched the Batman with coworkers again. No, that was the last time, and frankly, I don't remember which movie I watched before Batman on a big theater. I'm a fan of like the Cine Club style, like the Alamo. Even there is food, but was very polite and there is no noise.
Yeah.
I like that format, but usually nowadays, like they just piss me off. Like to just go and there is no need now. You can even buy like stuff constantly. You can find it, but like I mean, those classic movies would be nice.
Yeah.
I enjoy to be in a theater, but I hate like Jeremy. I'm very grumpy too. I'm not gonna create any situation, but I don't understand why they serve popcorns. I never understood because it's loud.
Well, it's a vehicle for butter.
Wow, is it
Is it butter?
It's the-
Butter.
Is it butter?
It's the butter industrial complex.
Tastes like butter.
Yeah.
Louis,
I
did you
don't know.
tell us where you've been to a movie?
No,
last?
I took my family out to see Uncharted. I think 2 weeks ago. The Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg vehicle, based on the video game. As far as video games go, it was bad, which means it was a really bad movie.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
The boy liked it. He's 12. He's allowed.
Yeah.
But it's a not good movie. With actually like pretty solid actors all the way around, but there was just nothing to the script, and so
Did they look embarrassed? Sometimes when it's a bad movie and a good actor, they look a little bit embarrassed.
They honestly didn't. It was just that the movie was it just didn't have any substance to it. So we watched that. We will probably go very soon because I would like to see the Batman, and my wife would be very upset with me if I see it without her. So we will see the Batman, and my wife's actual favorite activity, I mean, besides looking at me, is going to movie theaters. So she enjoys the movie theater experience more so than the movie.
Yeah.
And I don't think she cares if it's a good movie, bad movie, if people are being loud. Like, none of that really matters to her. There's something about like the lights going down, and like the shared experience, and the giant screen. I've got literally a better sound system than 90% of movie theaters in the house. We now have one of the giant 2,000-inch screen televisions in our room, and I literally have the surround sound setup that just blows every movie theater except for the AMC Dolby Digital out of the water.
Have you ever taken her to a proper musical with an orchestra in the front where they do the intro and everything?
In fact, she doesn't like
gross.
musicals at all. So I can't even get her to sit down and watch like Hamilton.
Yeah.
Like, my daughter and I will sit down and watch it. My daughter and I will go see a musical, but no, my wife will have no part of it.
Have you been to a musical in New York or something like that?
I have not.
Not quite the same as going to London, but to watch a musical. But there you are.
Well, I mean, if I'm gonna if I'm gonna slum it, I will try the whole London thing.
Yeah.
I will say, if you guys are going to the movie theater to watch the Batman soon, you should probably really like the movie theater because it's like a 3-hour-long movie. I've seen it. I've spent about 12 hours of my life watching the Batman.
Gotcha.
So, trivia question for you.
Yes.
Okay, see if you can get this.
Okay.
Okay. So the new series of Batman, I'm not talking about the 60s Batman.
Yes.
What's the name of the dog that introduced the first Batman?
I don't know, man.
The dog?
The dog? Like the
Very
groundhog
famous
dude?
dog, probably the most famous dog in the world.
What?
You
Clifford?
don't know.
Snoopy?
So unimpressed.
We are so
What?
confused.
I have seen the 1960s Batmans. I just haven't.
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo introduced Batman?
What do you mean
Don't-
by that?
When they were running the intros for the first one, you see the back of a black head with ears.
What?
And,
I think that's the
and
bat
it's
signal.
It's the Batman tune, right? And they're just about to get really, really. And he tells me, "It's not me."
What?
He turns around
Yeah,
and says,
it
I
was
don't think
Scooby.
he's the most famous dog. There has
Scooby-Doo
to
is
be
the
more
most famous
famous.
dog in the planet.
Snoopy?
Come on.
No, Scooby-Doo is worldwide.
I didn't think of Scooby-Doo. I thought of two other dogs before Scooby-Doo.
Okay, we're going to have a... We're just looking a bit...
Okay, go to the next one.
Okay, next question. I think...
This is my only question I wanted to use.
Well, sorry,
That's
I've been
fine.
told I better
It's
go
the
to
only
next
question I cared.
Fernando. So be quick.
A quiz.
So I will ask.
a
Alena,
quiz,
what was the last movie
quiz
you have
question
gone to?
back to Jeremy.
Yeah.
Where Vincent Price is from?
Well,
Where's Vincent Price
Vincent
from?
Price.
Oh, no, he's not English, is he?
Ha ha ha.
Is he?
No, he's not. It's either America or South America or something like that.
He's from St. Louis, Missouri.
Seriously? Cool.
Yep.
It's like Charlie Chaplin's from London, you know, things like that.
No, he's from Lawrence, Kansas.
Who, Charlie Chaplin?
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Alena,
he's from
what's
London.
the last time you were in a movie?
Thank you for asking, Lewis.
Yeah, because... yeah.
The last
Thanks,
movie I
Alena.
saw in theaters was The French Dispatch by Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson is the most fun person to watch in theaters because his movies are they're aesthetically pleasing. They're created for the screen, and that is just sort of the way that you are meant to watch his films. They're very symmetrical. They're very brightly colored, and everything about them is, I feel like, just inherently meant to be viewed in a theater. Going to the theater alone is the best way to go on a date.
Hold
I
on,
think ever.
say that.
Going to the movie theater alone is the best way to go on a date. Going on a date with another person at a movie theater is horrible.
I see. So if I invite you on a date, we would go to the movies, just different theaters.
Yeah, that would be preferable because having somebody sit next to you while you're trying to watch a movie is one of the least enjoyable things in the world, especially if they're talking through the movie or if they have, if they're not into movies but are just kind of there with you. You're like,
What you can do is turn to them and say, listen, I brought this gag. Let's try it out on you right now.
Yeah, but if you're like single and you go to a movie theater, it's the most like fulfilling, warm, like you feel like a very warm experience. Like you've gone on a date with the like crazy mind of the film director that you've like delved into over the hour and a half of the movie. You get like popcorn by yourself, get a glass of red wine at Liberty Hall. That is peak life. Going to the movie theater. More people should go to the movie theater because if movie theaters are gone, I can't go to them anymore.
So interesting Lou fact. I have been to one movie in my entire life at the theater by myself, and I didn't make it through that movie. So for me, it was not a great movie. In fact, I don't remember exactly what the movie was.
Probably wasn't the Batman.
I'm sure it was not the Batman. But yeah, I've never gotten that far. So maybe that's an experience I'll have to.
It's the whole time you're going alone, you're like happy that you're alone.
Uh-huh.
It makes it a much better experience.
Let's move on to a more interesting subject. So, my son-in-law, who I was driving to the airport this morning at 3:00 in the morning, I said 3:00 in the morning. He has 3 sisters living in Sweden right now, and I said to him, "So, what do you think about Putin and Finland and Sweden and what have you?" He says to me, "I don't."
He doesn't think anything.
Well, he doesn't want to address it. And the question: can Finland and Sweden are about to join NATO? Do you think that is the right decision? And for those who don't know, Norway is next to Sweden and runs across the top of Sweden. And one of the Russian oligarchs' special yachts, which is a converted deep-sea exploration boat, was arrested whilst driving past the main NATO base in Norway a few weeks ago. Putin has been threatening sideways, sort of saying anyone who gets involved or wants to join NATO better watch out. So, do you think it's the right decision either?
Well,
If they want to?
Yeah, I think Putin needs to shut the fuck up. It's not his business what independent sovereign countries are, who they gonna join, what they want to do. Shut the fuck up, asshole. They can do whatever the
Evo's
fuck they
address
want.
is
Yeah, unbelievable. This guy is has launched a full-blown aggression over a sovereign country and has the I- the goal to be talking to Sweden and Finland whether to join NATO or not. What do you think? Who do you think you are? Think you're the king of the world? Fucking loser. KGB colonel. Fucking
Well,
loser.
my question, really, I think, where I'm going with this is Sweden. Sweden is the country that makes Volvos and autos happen.
Yeah.
And Putin is quite capable of dropping something very large on one of their main
No,
cities.
he's afraid of Greta Thunberg. She's fucking gonna kick his fucking ass.
Aren't we all?
I've forgotten about Greta.
You don't want to mess with Sweden, man.
Sponsor
She's gonna
of
go
ours.
and strangle him. Remember, with a biodegradable shoelace. And Finland is right next to Russia. In fact, Murmansk is where it's a very important strategic Russian seaport where all the nuclear icebreakers, the Russian nuclear icebreakers are stationed, and a lot of their submarines. And it's basically in Finland. They're very close. So, yeah, he feels threatened. And Finland and Sweden, the Scandinavian countries, historically have been very careful in taking sides. You know, they're very socialist. They're very liberal countries. They practice a form of capitalism that is extremely liberal and progressive. And they've always been they've always erred on the side of caution in terms of joining big organizations like this. And that move towards NATO, direct result of the aggression against Ukraine. They probably would have never joined NATO if Putin didn't make that move. So
He's destroying himself.
yeah,
Maybe
it's self-destruction.
It'll make it faster.
Yeah,
His own party takes him out.
Yes, it accelerated this process, and it united the Western Front against him, and he has only himself to blame for it, and he's powerless. He can do nothing except for rattling, and rattling his arsenal and making threats. He'll do nothing, and they will join NATO, and good for them. And he did this to himself. So I think it's the right decision, Jeremy, to answer your question. I think they're doing the right thing, and Greta will have even more power, and so will ABBA. And yes,
But the Ukraine disaster that the Russians are displaying means that Sweden and Finland, I think, are going to feel a little safer joining NATO because there's no way, if they had NATO backing, that Russia could actually do anything to them.
Yeah.
Russia's shown itself to be totally incompetent that way.
Yeah, I agree. It's they discredited themselves also as a military power, because look at what's happening. They're sending T-70, T-80 tanks, archaic, antiquated machines, and they're getting blown to pieces.
And they can only recruit people they have to lie to about their purpose, and it's just not working for
So,
them.
can I ask, Alena? You've spent a lot of time in Europe. What's your view on this? I mean, your dad did national service before you turned up. Do you think we keep saying, "Oh, he wouldn't"? No, it's like with Trump. Oh no, don't be silly. He wouldn't do that. What do you think?
About
Sweden and Finland.
in NATO.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly I don't know enough about the North American Trade Organization to know it's NATO. I don't know enough about them to know what the importance of Sweden and
North
Finland
Atlantic
join-
Treaty.
Is it North Atlantic Treaty? I
Yeah.
thought it was North Atlantic Trade Organization. No.
But
That-
what I
North
was
Atlantic Treaty.
Yeah.
Yeah, because why would? Okay, sorry, I'm confused.
what I'm
I-
getting at is, for the two younger folk here, is in a country that builds Volvos and does ABBA and Greta Thunberg and everything else, all of a sudden Putin says, "You are not joining NATO, and they say, yeah, we are. Fuck you.
Yeah.
We are. So he says, look, you don't seem to be listening to me. So he takes out, McDonald's in half of a city centre with one rocket. What happens then?
If they're
What
in
happens
NATO,
then?
If they're in NATO, there's going to be a full-blown world war with conventional weapons, because I don't think they're going to use nuclear weapons. It's a guaranteed mutual destruction if there's nuclear weapons. But yeah, he's not, because Article 6 of NATO that if you attack one NATO country, you're attacking the entire NATO. So
Yeah, it's a NATO purpose. It's defense.
yeah,
They don't engage. I mean,
It's mutual defense.
It's
Now-
mutual defense.
Let me ask Andrei, and I want you to be honest here. Andrei, okay? Do you even know where Finland is?
It's like with the horse. It's all with the horse-shaped countries. It's the little
Fine. So
yeah,
you
by
do
like
know
Norway.
all right.
Yeah,
So
I know the
you-
general area.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And what do you think about? Are you concerned about the possibility that there could be another war? Are you and your friends really more interested in playing football?
I mean, I'd rather play football than be in a war, but like, honestly, like the more I think about it, like if I have to be like, if there's worst case scenario, if there's like another world war and there's another like draft or something, and I get drafted into this, like if I have to be in this war, I mean, there's not much I can do about it. So I'm not worried about it, since there's nothing I can really do about it.
Because the interesting thing is, you're the only one here who has signed up for selective service.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you are the only one here who could get drafted.
I mean, the fact, like, on the question about them joining NATO, I mean, I think I know they've been, like, neutral countries, so they're not that, like, if one of them had to, like, just go up against the U.S. in a war or something, I feel like, but they're, at the same time, they're mainstream countries, like, I think of it as picking, like, a dodgeball team, like, you got the U.S. and, like, Britain, Germany, those guys. And then you've also got, like, Luxembourg.
they can dodge.
Yeah,
good
well,
at
they
dodging.
can give enthusiasm or something. But, like, Sweden and Finland are mainstream countries. Like, they could definitely help out.
Yeah,
But, like, Estonia, Luxembourg, those dudes,
yeah.
I don't know. So, having some larger countries, I feel like would help.
What do you think you will?
Lewis.
So I took the question, I think, in the same vein that Alena did, in that, like, I don't know if it's a good decision. I think that's like a Finland and Sweden question. Like, if they see a benefit to joining NATO, then they should join NATO. But I feel like the unspoken question within this question is, should they be afraid of Putin? And to that, I mean, we talked about it. I at this point don't remember if we talked about this prior to the podcast or while we were on mic. But Jeremy, you said specifically, like, before the podcast, like, there's only one way to deal with a bully.
What you haven't addressed yet, when we looked at the very lovely Finnish premier talking earlier on today, if you are the president or prime minister of the country, and Putin literally gets on the phone to you and says, look, you need to know I'm going to wipe out your capital city if you join NATO. Goodbye. And that means that you've just been threatened by someone who's attacked another country and wiped out a considerable part of it, that you will be responsible for the deaths of maybe 10 or 15,000 people. Because you just...
I think that's a false equivalency.
But you have... But what I'm trying to get at is, you've still got to make that decision.
I think we make these situations into the ticking time bomb, Jack Bauer 24 series type decision when it doesn't do anything but scare us. And I think that there's literally a think tank in Finland, a think tank in Sweden that are weighing their options back and forth. And I think that, like, I don't think we can do anything here other than scare each other. back and forth as to what
Yeah.
we should do.
And I think Sweden and Finland are going to look at Ukraine, a country that was not part of NATO and is now being eaten up by Russia. And he will keep doing it no matter how much the loss is until he gets it. And their only protection would be to join a larger group. That's Ukraine. If Ukraine were part of NATO now, we could be keeping their air clear.
Yeah, no. Okay. So again, if the question is like, do I think it would be beneficial for Finland's protection to join NATO? Then yeah, I think that's a different question than what we're kind of dancing around. And I think the question that we're dancing around is like, at what size does a nation get to stop being afraid of Putin? And I don't think that there is a size.
Yeah. I also think it's almost a false equivalency to compare like Putin calling up somebody in Finland or somebody in Sweden and saying we're going to take your capital. To compare that to what has happened in the Ukraine is ludicrous, because what happened in Ukraine has taken 30 years, and we've watched it happen.
Yeah.
It didn't. It wasn't like he was like, I'm coming into Kiev.
It
It was
was a
like, I've got
slow-moving
Crimea.
coup.
I've got
Yeah.
this. I've got that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he's been bombing that place, slowly like starving people. People
Yeah.
in the Ukraine have been starved by Russians for decades.
Yeah, it's-
moving up into this crisis. So to think that like
It's a slow-moving takeover.
like Putin did not just like show up there. I mean, he did that for 30 years.
Yeah.
Not
Did
just
you-
him, but the entire
and announced
complex.
it the entire time.
Yeah.
Jeremy, did you hear Kremlin's newest version of the atrocities in Bucha? He said that it was English people, English mercenaries that killed, butchered, raped. All these people were English, paid. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you can't spell Ukraine without UK. You know.
Set that up, didn't you? You just did that.
Thanks,
you know what
thanks for bringing up Ivo. That makes sense.
If Putin takes over Finland, he'll be finished.
Wow.
Oh, Eva! How dare you? Oh my goodness gracious!
He'll be finished.
Okay, this is a quick fire round. Okay, quick fire round. Alena, have you ever slapped someone? If yes, what was the special occasion?
Honestly, shame on me. Probably like my little brother once or twice. And honestly, shame on me because he's like 6 years younger than me.
6
Probably.
feet taller than
To
you.
be fair, we've
No.
all slapped your little.
So you slapped
It's hard
your-
not to slap him.
You slapped your little brother. Kathleen, have you ever slapped?
No, I haven't ever slapped anybody. I think I would only do it as a matter of self-defense. What? No. That you asked
Evo,
for
have
that.
you ever? No, I didn't.
No, I've only done it in taekwondo practice when I practiced taekwondo like 30 years ago.
Okay, so
I've never been in a fight.
As we work
Never.
our way around the line,
I'm good at avoiding
table
fights.
here. Lewis, have you
No.
ever slapped anybody?
No.
Lewis, have you ever slapped anybody?
I'm getting ready to right now.
He's never met Marjorie Taylor Greene. Otherwise, yeah.
I'm listening.
When we in practice,
Fernando,
he
have
might
you
have.
slapped anybody? Ever?
I think like those countries should join NATO.
Yes.
Because remember, he's kept me. But yes, I did. There was I was in a lot of like fights, not a Will Smith style. There was like a punch and a slap.
He grew up in Sao Paulo,
Yeah.
so
There's some,
that's a rough city.
They
you know,
don't do slapping,
Catholic
it's
school.
shooting somebody.
Yeah, there is some bully there. Like we always have.
His name was Chris Rock.
Some fights. Yeah.
All right. And Andrei, have you ever slapped anybody?
I don't think so. More like, just not really a slap. There's been altercations, but not a slap.
Not like Will Smith.
No. Yeah, not like open
Lord
hand.
Yeah.
By the
Taylor.
way, do we think
Yes.
that was staged?
I
No,
don't.
it was
Nah.
real.
I don't.
Not real.
I don't. In fact, like for me, if you look at the at Chris Rock's body language, you could see him going through like multiple stages. Like, and
Shock,
it is I think a testament to like his character that he just
kept it together.
and has kept it together ever since. Like he's basically, from his perspective, like the whole story is shut down. Yeah. But, Lord Taylor,
Yes.
have you ever slapped anyone?
So a gentleman
In England.
in England. Oh. Now you make. That's different.
Now he remembered. He remembered slapping the butler
There was
once.
nursing.
Oh,
There was
my.
nursing. How are we off with sponsorship today? You said
It was very apparently Susan did a very short one this time.
She has
Last
a short
second, so
one.
don't be upset. She said it was very modest sponsorship, but
How was it delivered?
it was interesting. It was delivered on a. Apparently, it's a message again,
Okay.
and it's delivered by a double tape answering machine from the 1970s, Panasonic.
Righteous.
Yeah, and it's basically a message, answering machine message,
Okay.
and it's about some guy. Some guy. Let me see. He's Angry Walter. Some guy
Angry
who's very
Walter.
angry.
Angry
Always
Walter.
very Angry Walter is his name. Just some random guy, Angry Walter. I have a feeling we'll meet him again. He's an angry guy, and this time today apparently he's pissed about trendy toys. That guy just can't stand them. I like trendy toys, but the guy just can't stand them. So I'm gonna just play the answering machine message from Susan and see what we have. Hello. Leave a message after the beep. Beep. Man, Susan's voice is very sexy. Let me play that again. Hello. Leave a message after the beep. Beep. Oh my god. Alright, here's Angry Walter. Hello. It's me, Angry Walter. I'm gonna sponsor you with an important public announcement against trendy fucking toys. I hate them so much. Trendy toys ruin my life. I used to be a child prodigy, a genius. I was studying quantum mechanics at the age of 14, and then, in the mid-70s, as I was working on my paper on variations in the Schrödinger conjecture, some fucking asshole came up with the clackers! Yes, the clackers!
I remember those.
Yes, you remember the clackers, don't you, Kathleen?
Oh, yeah.
I personally don't remember anything else anymore. Only the clackers. Everyone was doing the clackers. Clack, clack, clack. 24/7, middle of the night, in the dorm, outside my window, inside my window, on the street, in the cafeteria, in the opera, everywhere. Clackers! Here's me, studying in 1978. Well, let's see, the mathematical formulation of quantum mechanics developed by Paul Dirac defines the state of quantum mechanical system to be a vector belonging to the Hilbert space. This vector is postulated to be normalized under the Hilbert space inner product. The exact nature of this Hilbert space is dependent on the system. For example, the describing position and momentum, the Hilbert space is... Ah! Fuck the clackers! Fuck you, clackers! I hate clackers. I hate them. I was going places. I was about to solve the Wilhelm hypothesis and the Birch equation. But
not
all
for
my brain could do was clack, clack, clack. Now, I'm cleaning toilets. In a mercury mine. You know what it means to change vanilla-flavored urinal pies in a mercury mine toilet?
dear.
Damn you, clackers! Whoever created this abomination is a monster. Way to go, genius. You came up with 2 plastic testicles attached to a string. I hope you're dead and you're shitting molten lava in hell.
Dear.
Oh my god. Oh, and then, just as the clackers disappeared, and I was finally out of the rehabilitation clinic, came that red psychopath, Elmo. Let me tell you something, you! Yes, you, the twisted, perverted creator of Tickle Me Elmo. You should be put behind bars for the sake of humanity. You rotting human hemorrhoid, you. You made an exuberant, high-pitched demon. I hate you, you homicidal motherfucker! Your contribution to society is measured in parental suicides. Do you know what you made me do? I had to wait in line for 2 days to buy one of those for my children. I got trampled by middle-aged women. I had 2 collapsed lungs and a swollen testicle. I got elbowed in the spleen by a 300-pound certified public accountant. Fuck you, Elmo! Fuck you, Elmo! Here, let me show you the big bird! Tickle this motherfucker! Go back to Sesame Hell, bitch! I hope you get eaten by the Cookie Monster and Count Fuckula! Oh, and don't start me on everyone's favorite, Legos. Oh, so colorful, so much fun, so much creative family enjoyment. Wrong! Legos are a fucking weapon of mass destruction. The bottom of my feet look like I've been tortured in a Sudanese prison. I got more scars than fucking Rambo. Those fucking Legos penetrate your flesh like curare-tipped samurai swords. And they hide. Oh, how well they hide. Now I enter my house in a full hazardous device unit protective suit. The Legos had to be removed by a bomb squad robots. Oh, but they're so clever, those Legos. They just blend in and wait. Jeez. Patiently. And years later, when you least expect it, they strike like an exotic venomous snake.
Ooh, ooh.
And how about them Furbies? Satan's little pets. They're Lucifer's revenge for those brave people that managed to murder Tickle Me Elmo. And they have no off switch. Did you know that?
Did not know that.
Of course they don't.
No.
But guess what? I don't need one because I bought a hammer. And how about that pesky backyard trampoline? What a great idea. Why don't you just give me a wood chopper for a toy? Or a chunk of weapon-grade plutonium? I have 5 fucking fibula spiral fractures and more broken vertebrae than Evo Knievel. Thank you, trampoline.
Yeah.
And how
yeah.
about Mr. Potato Head? Hannibal Lecter's favorite toy. How fun! Removing noses and ears and eyes on a decapitated head that seems ready to be cooked in boiling water. If you want your child to have a jump start on all other homicidal maniacs, go ahead. Treat them to a potato fucking head. And please don't eat them. bring up the finger fidget spinners, and the cheddar teeth, and the long dots, and the Cabbage Patch Monsters, and the Betsy fucking Wetsy, and the Kinetic Sand, and the Kinky Slinkies, and the Lincoln Crap Logs, and the Care Killer Bears, and the Grizzly Operation, and the Tamagotchis. My kids learn how to kill 20 of them by not feeding them. And the Pet Freaking Rock. I hate them all! Spread the message! Toys are the devil! Thank you, Angry Walter.
Well, we thank our
Thank you,
angry sponsor for today, and yes, we will see him again. Yes, Mr. Bond. All that remains is for me, Jeremy Taylor, to say thanks for listening, and remember that all of the 2020 and 21 podcasts can be found for download on the Ko-Fi channel. You can get us also on Facebook, usually a few days after Wednesday. So if you try looking around a Friday, you'll probably find us Friday, Saturday. I want to thank everybody, and particularly we have been engineerless, because we gave our engineer some sort of a subsidy. I don't know, it didn't have anything to do with me, and he went on a cruise.
He went,
and he's currently
Who made a mistake of paying him?
I have no idea.
Oh, Lord.
But the Rasmussen has gone on a cruise and is somewhere off Hawaii at the moment.
Hopefully he's got Legos.
Yes, we didn't pay for them to land in Hawaii. We just paid for them to be on the boat. So there we are. Folks, you've been listening to another Wednesday Night Undressed. Do enjoy your bath.